Do you ever think about how far you've come in life? Do you ever sit back and assess, wow, I've really learnt from what I've done over the last few years and I've managed to get from A to B. I got that hamburger. I managed to eat at that restaurant. I got that raise. Not always, sometimes we just learn. I'm a better person for learning about who I was back then compared to who I am today. And this is a roundabout way of saying that Forgive Me Father 2 has come a long way since the original installment. And just like in life, sometimes game developers take a step back, learn from all the best parts of themselves, and apply that to their new games. And that's what we have in Forgive Me Father 2. Here are my first impressions of Forgive Me Father 2. Forgive Me Father 2 is, as it always has been, a traditional boomer shooter. Complete with action, music, and everything we love about the genre. Made, once again, by the team over at Byte and published by Fulqrum. While the build that I got wasn't perfect, there were some standout elements that I really want to talk to you about. Things that I felt really bring this game to 2023. Some of the things you're going to first notice is the best aspects of the original are back in style. The graphical comic book style of the game is back and it returns in ever-loving Unreal Engine 5 glory. I didn't really notice too many crazy improvements on the style, other than the fact that I knew it was in Unreal Engine 5. You can sometimes see the animations and FPS improve over time, like they really made a go at it. Rather than the sprites seeming flat, each character, monster, or element seems a little bit more dynamic. I don't know if this was because of the engine, or just because the guys had a bit more time to work with what they had. Other things you're going to notice, it's a boomer shooter. So we have action, we have guns. My gosh, do we have guns. Awesome guns. And we might get that into that a little bit. But as always, you're going to see a lovely mix between eldritch monster horror and the weapons you wield. In fact, I feel the team has gone a little step further this time, really bringing those monsters into your hands to play. A big standout for a lot of people has been the rocket launcher, which basically is a mouth with a barrel on the end of it where you feed it rockets. Really fun gun. Not my favorite, but a very fun gun. When I started the game, I was a little taken aback. I know that the lore means that we're traditionally the priest from the first game rather than the journalist. And I know this for a lot of people is a bit of a problem. They wanted to play as a journalist, and who knows, maybe we'll get DLC in the future. But for now, it seems like we're playing as the priest. Or at least, I think we do. The lore in this game is speaking more to something bigger, alluding to the fact that we participated in some form or fashion, or at least we knew someone who participated in World War I, and the priest's association with this person. There might be a bit of a narrative twist here, something we're not expecting, and I'm excited to see how this plays out. Some notable changes though, we don't have that skill wheel anymore. This is replaced with something a bit more linear, but no less customizable. We can go back and change weapons with one of these gloriously cool doctors. Now look, just a quick comment here. I'm so happy to see the sailor again. My god man, I was so worried you were dead. It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here, I have missed you. But his form and fashion is changed to get into these doctors over here. Now we see the red and the blue pole. Yeah, a bit of a Matrix reference there, I like that. And each one of these guys gives us a different option on upgrading our playstyle, our weapons, and our power-ups. This doctor here with the blue pill, he offers us upgrades on our weapons. And unlike the skill wheel, we can actually go back and equip different weapons we've unlocked with something called tokens. These tokens currencies can be found throughout our game, so we can go back and replay each level to find more tokens that might be in secrets, which I thought was a cool touch. And if you don't like a weapon or you feel that maybe it's not your style, you can go back and equip an older weapon. This is something that I think is a really nice feature, something different. I know in the first game, once you've built out a weapon, you kind of can't go back, which was sad, you know, it makes first time playthroughs a bit difficult. Yeah, I was enlightened. I felt I went through the double shotgun, the double barrel shotgun, which was uber powerful, but I liked the pump action shotgun. That felt a little bit more accurate. So went back, changed that out, I think maybe on the 5th or 6th level. Pretty cool feature this. I like it. Over on the other side of the room, we've got the Dark Tome with the red pill doctor. He's a little bit more unhinged, I feel. He basically offers you upgrades to your Dark Tome, which are essentially power-ups to your overall gameplay. These power-ups are activated similar to the first game where we're able to use the Necronomicon, the mop, and other power-ups throughout the game to give us a little bit of an edge. Here we only have one power-up, but we kind of mix that power-up into different styles. So, for example, different pages will give you different power-ups when you activate the book. The book can say, for example, increase your speed, your rate of fire, you can leech life, which was a page I found, which was pretty useful in the end game. And again, you can customize your play styles and try different approaches with your gameplay. And I thought this was pretty cool. I don't know if I love it just yet. It is different, and different is good. So I like that, and I'm going to stick with it. I do like customization, so I think different weapons, different power-ups, definitely a fun little dynamic here. A quick note though, I know a, shall we say, controversial take in the original game was the use of the flashlight or the torch. Now, I've spoken at length about how the flashlights and the use thereof in the original games creates a sense of dread and fear going into the night and fighting off night creatures and so on. And still trying to create that balance of gameplay, lighting. That for me was a really great standout feature of the original game, though I know a lot of people didn't really like it. I believe that Byte Barrel has taken a lot of that feedback to heart, trying to balance out people's expectations and gameplay preferences like myself and others, where we still use a lighting device. However, this lighting device is lit while we're able to engage in a fight through a mechanically powered flashlight. This mechanically powered flashlight is pretty cool. I did a bit of research. It's a World War I flashlight that a lot of the soldiers used to use. You prime it up basically and you have a bit of a light. There are actually some modern variants which are pretty cool, used throughout Africa where there's no electricity. I thought this was a nice compromise. Now we have a flashlight that does dim over time. That could be a little hair-raising in a situation where a fight goes on for very long and you need to prime your flashlight in the darker areas. However, it also stops people from needing to keep with a flashlight in a dark place, switch to a gun, flashlight, switch to a gun, and I think that's a nice update too. I think this approach is far more balanced. It lets people like me enjoy the darkness while also the pace and the thrill of going into the darkness and never knowing what's coming out on the other side, while also lets other more direct players just focus on their gameplay, go in, boom and blast. And I think this is a great balance, not compromising the essence of what the game should be, which is the horrors of the unknown. I do feel in the version that I played, the game is quite dark, even in places I didn't feel that it should be. Now, I think might just be a lighting update later down the line, but we have such amazing detailed guns and environments. It's so sad sometimes to think I can't see it because it's too dark. And this isn't so much a flashlight issue. I did notice that when I primed the flashlights and, okay, we can see and that's all fine, but even sometimes with the flashlight on, I couldn't sometimes see my gun under the silhouette of the darkness, which is a shame because those guns look great and I think we should show them off a little bit more. Something that I noticed while playing the demo and again in the early access version recently, the use of yellow markers throughout the game. Now, I understand that there are a lot of people who don't like these kinds of things, considering it more hand-holdy. Guys, I'm a bit of an idiot when it comes to navigation. I sometimes get lost because, the ADD in me is like, ooh, what's that? Pretty structure over there. There's a hole to explore. Let me dive right in. And then I get lost and 5 minutes later, it's like, where the hell am I? I think little yellow markers like this, things that we see in games like Resident Evil, sure, for people who don't have this problem, more power to you. You'll probably think of it as hand-holding. I don't think it's a problem. I think it's pretty useful for idiots like me. So thank you, Byte Barrel, for that. But experiences may vary. Let me know. Do you think yellow markers in a game are useful and help with navigation of a map? Or is it too much hand-holding? I think that when we actually look at the larger picture of the way the maps of Forgive Me Father 2 are constructed, they're far less linear. So there's less of a chance that you're going to go in a straight line throughout the entire level. Rather a bit more backtracking, sometimes you're going into a loop, there are secrets that you might not see, a little bit of platforming, which is pretty cool. So I think something like this is nice to have just to get you back on track to the primary objective. Now, finally, my favorite part in this entire damn video, I get to tell you about the music. Now, I've left this one to last because it's literally one of my favorite parts of the game, and for some reason it keeps coming up in all my reviews. It's something that I particularly notice in games. For any of you that have watched my final review of the original Forgive Me Father, which I'll be linking in the description of this video to go and check out, you'll notice that I had a bit of a niggle with the way the music was used in the game. I felt there wasn't an effective balance between boomer shooter metal which we all know and love, you know, something hard, fast-paced, gets us into the mood, blowing up monsters, love it. But then changing the pace to something a little bit more void-like, a little bit more sterile in the original game, which I thought was a strange gear shift. I did mention back then that this wasn't a sticking point for me, it's just something I noticed and I was always hoping they would improve upon it. Now, listen to me. They have improved in spades. The new original soundtrack of Forgive Me Father 2 is by far the best soundtracks of 2023. It combines chest palpitating orchestral organic music. And when I say organic, I mean from a classical organ. Now, I would have been happy just to stop there and just drool about how amazing that part of the music is. But the team goes one step further. They then have gone back and re-optimized the dynamic nature of the music between battles and environmental storytelling. So now when we move into a battle, yes, we get the boomer shooter metal with a bit of orchestral operatic music, something you might find from the Phantom of the Opera, but still having metal. It is the most amazing feeling in the world. But they've managed to create a dynamic, which means that as soon as the battle is over, you don't feel like the music stops. It's a nice, natural ending to that stage of your gameplay. I mentioned in my first review a synthwave kind of vibe. They don't do synthwave here, and I never thought of it, but it would make sense to do something a bit more low-hum operatic, and it does so well. It creates the sense of fear and madness throughout the levels. You even hear drones and wails of the souls that we could not save. It's brilliant. The balancing is exquisite. From the battle music to the quiet bits in between, it is so well done, and I really have to call them out for this one. It is exquisite, and I want to say well done to the guys at Byte and whoever your composers are. Excellent work. Thank you so much for letting me engage with that. It is something that just gripped me, and I couldn't be happier to see this in your game. It made me so happy, and I just wanted to keep going. I was shook. I sat here with my mouth open at the end of the cathedral level, just feeling the music and the sound, and let a symphony of carnage mix with the operatic sound. Oh my word. Please look out for this element in the game. You're really gonna love it. Maybe you don't care about this kind of thing, but I love it. Forgive Me Father 2 is in nearly every way an improvement than the original game. From its music to its combat to its gameplay, customizations, and I'm sure that this story is going to be something really gripping. Like me, that takes a step back every so often to assess my progress in life, assess how far I've come and where I want to go next. I really do feel that the team have come very far. They've definitely taken a step back, seen where their strengths are, and improved upon those aspects, and tried a few new things along the way. The release date for the early access of Forgive Me Father 2 is on the 19th of October 2023. I'm hoping to get a full release in 2024, I hope, but please guys, take your time. Shout out again to the guys over at Fulqrum and Byte for letting me look at this game a little earlier. Guys, thanks a lot again. Quick shout out to my amazing patrons. You guys are the eldritch core that I hear when I can't sleep at night. If you'd like to support me on my channel, please feel free to like this video, comment and subscribe if you're new, or maybe share it with a friend. It really helps me out. Thank you for watching guys, and be sure to check out my review of Forgive Me Father 2 in a few months when that eventually gets out. Until next time, please, take care, rip and tear. Cheers.